2 weeks of diving in Cuba has wrapped up, and I'm just kind of sitting and relaxing and letting my dive gear dry out. And I'm just wondering what lessons have I learned? So I'm sitting on my balcony. This is my view. I'm looking over the Caribbean Sea, and I'm just thinking, like, what did I learn from this trip? I mean, I had fun and did some good diving and took some video, and that's good, and took some still pictures, so that was fun. But what did I learn? Well, I think the first thing I learned was next time I go, I'm going to go with family members, because I went by myself. There were great people there, but I went by myself. And, the afternoons are a little bit boring. I ended up, it was too hot to go out, so I just sat around and watched TV. So that wasn't really great. So I think next time I would go with a family member. They'd have to be a diver. You couldn't go to this place and not dive. There'd be nothing to do. But anyways, my kids dive. So that's one thing I would do differently. Another thing I would do differently is I would probably go to a place, like I'm doing underwater video. I would probably go to a place that had more sharks, more rays, bigger things. Cuba had great diving, lots of small things, seahorses and things like that. But I really want to dive where there's sharks, like hammerheads and things like that, which are nice to photograph, and sell well, things like that. So I think next time I go, I'm going to go to a place that has more octopus, more turtles, and more sharks. Now, another interesting part was like every day, it was hot. The weather was fantastic. The seas were calm. We'd dive in the morning, and then some afternoons I would go out, but some afternoons it was too hot. So then I started to go out at like 5 or 5:30 with my camera just to take photographs. And as I've mentioned before, I lucked out when the biker club came to our hotel for a couple of days. But of the 2 weeks, they were only there 2 nights. So one thing that was interesting, I thought, was when I arrived. So I arrived at 10 p.m. on a Friday night and got picked up at the airport, and then it was midnight by the time we got back to the hotel. So, and it's a 2-hour drive, and we're driving through these towns, but you can't see anything because it's midnight. So on the way back to the airport, we're driving back to the airport 2 hours, but the flight's earlier and it's daytime. And I just felt, I drove by on the bus back to the airport. I'm leaving Cuba now. I drove by 1,000 great photographs. Like I'm just looking out the bus window at these little towns. I'm thinking, oh look, there's these people sitting on their balcony because they don't have air conditioning, and here's these kids dancing in the street, and here's 2 ox pulling a cart. I mean, there was some great photographs. There was 1,000 great photographs that I didn't get to do, that I didn't know existed. Now, I don't know if you can freewheel it through Cuba. I mean, maybe there's restrictions on just showing up undocumented, like you're in the country. I don't think you can go wherever you want, but maybe you can. I don't know. You'd have to have a local guide for sure. But the thing that I realized was, I thought of my whole trip. The scuba was great. The underwater photography was great, but I really, really loved shooting portraits of the people. And I would be willing to go back just to photograph the people. Just bring a portrait lens, get a guide, get a fixer, maybe travel by motorcycle or scooter or whatever you could get, and just photograph the people. That's the lesson I learned, is although I love to scuba dive, I really love to photograph people. And I'd be looking forward to another trip where I can just photograph people. The diving was fun. The diving was great. But I'm feeling like a deep-rooted change where I really just want to go back to doing photography, shooting black and white, shooting portraits. I think that's where the future is for me. That's the lesson that I learned.